Let us begin with the fact that dinosaurs became extinct about 66 million years ago at the end of the Cretaceous period. It would seem that they vanished without a trace. Yet, because permafrost is slowly melting as a result of anthropogenic factors and more fragments of ancient life are rising before our eyes, we can no longer assert that the existence of people and dinosaurs was completely autonomous. You are on the Top Facts channel, and right now we will provide proof that our ideas about the age of the dinosaurs differ from reality. Let us start watching right away. The Klerksdorp spheres, that is what they call the curious spheres, with longitudinal notches, indentations, and grooves that are found in rock deposits near the city of Klerksdorp in South Africa. The spheres or discs measure only a few centimeters, yet they present a marvelous enigma for scientists. The age of the deposits is approximately 3 billion years. How did they get there, and what purpose did they serve? Made of a nickel-steel alloy, the spheres are polished to a shine. There is no doubt that they were the handiwork of rational beings. But we still do not know which beings exactly, nor why they delivered them to Earth. This gives us reason to question the generally accepted theories about the prehistoric past of the planet and humankind. In the African country of Mali lives the Dogon people, an ancient ethnic group famed for its knowledge and traditions. The Dogon possess remarkable astronomical information, including details about the Sirius star system, which they had obtained long before the discoveries of modern astronomy. These facts have led some scholars to suppose that the Dogon might have had access to information from ancient times. In some way, the art and folklore of the Dogon depict large reptiles resembling dinosaurs. Could they, too, have had access to fossilized remains or acquired knowledge of these prehistoric animals from some other sources? The very idea that people and dinosaurs could have lived on the same timeline is captivating and intriguing. Dinosaurs might not have walked the Earth 2.5 million years ago. We were not there and didn't see it ourselves. Yet we are certain in a way that that world differed greatly from today's. In Tanzania, scientists discovered fossilized footprints of ancient people who were presumably of far Australopithecines, who became extinct between 2.5 and 3.5 million years ago. Their footprints, left in volcanic ash, have been preserved wonderfully. More than 400 fossilized prints from the late Pleistocene give an idea of the behavior and habitat of early hominids. Imagine a world in which dinosaurs and early humans walked the Earth together. It sounds like science fiction, yet some unpublished discoveries prove this supposition. Ancient giants and our early ancestors quite possibly could have coexisted in one reality. In this video, we will examine pioneering findings that overturn our understanding of the past. Let us begin with evidence from ancient Native American tribes. On these stones, you see fantastic engravings that captured people and dinosaurs together. Where did they come from? In 1961, a Peruvian farmer named Javier Cabrera accidentally found these unusual stones in his field. Among them were engravings depicting animals and people with extraordinary precision. Carved into them were dinosaurs and other animals that interacted with humans. Since their discovery, they have been a lively subject of debate. Their authenticity has been constantly questioned by many scientists. Some have believed that these artifacts actually represent evidence of our mysterious past. The Ica stones are truly astonishing. They raise questions about a gap in documented history. What might we have missed? What if this is part of reality for which no other documentary evidence has survived? We know that dinosaurs are part of the world, yet although the giant species became extinct, even today they coexist with us in other life forms. Birds evolved from a terrestrial dinosaur 66 million years ago. When a large-scale natural catastrophe led to the death of most dinosaurs and of their habitat, the lush tropical forests, some animal species that had feathers, were able to travel long distances and change their place of residence. The surviving varieties turned into the basic form of birds existing on Earth. They evolved and adapted to different conditions. We notice these traits in modern birds. Just imagine, if they had possessed gigantic sizes, they could well have passed for monsters and for dragons. Let us figure out how closely the mythical image of the dragon is connected with the real appearance of the dinosaur. Those familiar with the folklore of different peoples know that almost every culture has its favorite dragons. By combining mythology and archaeology, one can summarize that dragons constitute an integral part of folklore all over the world. Whether it be the European dragon and the princess, the Russian Zmei Gorenik, portrayed as a gigantic, fire-breathing reptile with wings, or the serpentine dragons of Asia. Many of them are described as large reptiles with scales and sometimes with wings. When early people saw large unknown bones or fossilized tracks, they might have thought that they belonged to dragons. This formed their interpretation in myths. Not only on the territory of the modern Americas, but all over the world, petroglyphs with gigantic lizards have been found. These pose the same questions for all of us. Did any dinosaurs remain on Earth that could have coexisted with ancient people? In the Algerian cave complex of Tassili and Adjer, samples of rock art display large reptile figures that some interpret as dinosaurs. However, most scholars believe that they represent symbolic or mythical dragons. Let us think. Where did the dragon images in the mythology of different peoples of the world come from? Undoubtedly from a prototype, the dinosaurs. Now everything falls into place. In 1944, amateur archaeologist Valdemar Julsrud claimed that he had come upon mysterious figurines near the town of Acambaro in Mexico. These statuettes quickly aroused interest because they also symbolized interaction between people and dinosaurs. The collection was subsequently called the Acambaro figurines. It contained many miniature clay statuettes depicting humans and extinct animals, particularly dinosaurs. Can you picture such peaceful neighborhood? Critics and experts swiftly rejected their authenticity, calling it a hoax. Yet supporters asserted that much of our history had been fabricated, and the truth about our distant past remains unknown. Adherents of time travel believe that these figurines were left on Earth by interdimensional aliens who could travel back to the time of the dinosaurs and bring knowledge of the past to the inhabitants of Central America. One way or another, these artifacts continue to puzzle researchers and enthusiasts and stand as testimony to the secrets of the ancient past. Kachina Bridge is a large natural stone arch located in the Natural Bridges National Monument in the state of Utah. Here, our forebears have provided yet another proof of the ancient coexistence of people and dinosaurs. It is carved directly on the rocky walls at the foot of the canyon. The national park is a treasure house for historians. There are many petroglyphs, images on stone that fire the imagination and provoke disputes. Look at the carving made by the ancestors of the Pueblo peoples who lived 1,000 years ago. The various figures and symbols on the rock illustrate the culture and religion of their creators. There are both abstract forms and stylized images of animals, and some of them look very much like dinosaurs with long necks and curved tails. Scientists consider it most likely that these motifs are depictions of everyday practices from the spiritual life of Native Americans. For ordinary people, these drawings are simply a gift from distant ancestors who left us information about their culture. An intriguing discovery was made by researchers in the dried-up riverbeds of the state of Texas. On the fossilized sedimentary ground, they saw gigantic footprints. The finds sparked heated debates in both scientific and amateur circles of enthusiasts. The tracks portrayed an astonishing scenario of the joint presence on Earth of gigantic humans alongside dinosaurs. The footprints intersected as if they had trampled in one place. Footprints of feet, resembling human ones, were also of outstanding size. Do they represent weighty evidence that a world of giants and dinosaurs was real? Proponents of the idea assert that the tracks are numerous and realistic in appearance. Why do we immediately deny that we could have had a common past with prehistoric animals? Critics on the same note explain that the tracks cannot be authentic and that it is merely a forgery. There are many pranksters alongside researchers in the world. The only question is this: if the footprints are fake, how were they created? The records of the medieval Venetian explorer and traveler Marco Polo give us many particulars about the life of ancient people and animals. For example, he describes an animal that in a certain sense could have been a descendant of dinosaurs. In the 13th century, in the region of the Gobi Desert, there lived a terrible animal. It was reported that the creature had a thin body like that of a worm, a large head like that of a crocodile, and a tail like that of a snake. This picture paints a monster usually associated with large reptiles. Marco Polo gave specific descriptions of the size and behavior of the beast. Therefore, people have assumed that it was a dinosaur or a prehistoric animal. Although there is no documentary basis for proof, Polo's description makes the history of the ancient world extraordinarily interesting. On his journeys, he visited different parts of the world, which was extremely rare at that time. Hence, he could obtain and systematize information about the animal world and curious finds that we can now uncover only rarely. The works of eyewitnesses who lived long before us already let us understand that ancient myths and subsequent scientific discoveries may be closely linked. It is interesting. How were dinosaurs called earlier? And are there references to them in ancient books, for example, in the Bible? In fact, the term dinosaur entered usage only at the beginning of the 20th century. And before that, in order to designate prehistoric giants, they used the names tannin and behemoth. It is in this form that they are mentioned many times in the Bible. In biblical texts, tannin, or tannum in the plural, is often a symbol of chaos and evil. Most often, the interpretation of this name is dragon or sea monster. Skeptics may deny it, yet it is precisely the term tannin that is used in such texts of the Hebrew Bible as the book of Genesis and the book of the prophet Isaiah, and it denotes a dragon or a serpent. Even if the word symbolizes rather a mythical sea creature, it quite possibly could refer to gigantic reptiles similar in size to dinosaurs or to prehistoric animals. There is another name for a sea monster in the Bible that is mentioned many times: Leviathan. This wild sea creature is often depicted as a dragon or a water monster. It is spoken of in the book of Job as well as in the Psalms, and the book of the prophet Isaiah as a mighty hostile force. In the 73rd Psalm, it is said that God crushed the monster. Concerning the external appearance of Leviathan, it is ascribed large plates or scaly rings on its body, an enormous maw, and the ability to belch forth flame. What analogues can we choose from the known images of marine reptiles? The most suitable seem to be ichthyosaurs, more similar to fish and dolphins, or plesiosaurs, which had a long neck and flippers. Ancient people might have formed these concepts from discovered marine fossils and incorporated them into their mythological systems under the name Leviathan. Although there is no direct evidence linking Leviathan with specific water dinosaurs, Their biblical depiction offers a fascinating perspective on connecting myths with really existing ancient marine inhabitants. In ancient ruins, wall depictions of animals and people are often found, reflecting the author's concepts of the world. One such carving in the heart of the Ta Prohm Temple in Cambodia has charmed thousands of people. On the wall is carved a creature very reminiscent of the prehistoric animal Stegosaurus. This carving was found among many figures of other animals. Did sculptors in ancient times possess a clear understanding of the appearance of dinosaurs, or is this merely a coincidence? It is hardly likely that they participated in excavations or saw drawings of travelers who encountered fossilized remains. Critics often reject this hypothesis, calling the wall image an anachronistic anomaly, yet the carving definitely creates intrigue. What do we know about history and prehistoric life? And what of the Stegosaurus that is depicted in ancient art? It remains a symbol of many mysterious secrets still hidden from our understanding. Carbon analysis is a study capable of determining the age of almost any material. A test carried out in 2012 with fossilized remains of a Triceratops challenges the generally accepted theory of dinosaur extinction. According to the carbon analysis, the age of the supraorbital horn of a Triceratops found in Montana was only 33,500 years. Think about this difference. Triceratops first appeared about 68 million years ago, and it is known that the species disappeared 66 million years ago. It was in no way expected that this dinosaur might have remained existing only several tens of thousands of years ago. In addition to dinosaurs, other curious and unique life forms inhabited the planet, which have now disappeared. Glyptodon was an outstanding prehistoric beast. Imagine a gigantic armadillo the size of a Volkswagen Beetle automobile. These animals lived in South America in the period between 2 million and 10,000 years ago. Glyptodon had a thick armored body and a shield consisting of numerous bony plates, which made it a difficult prey for predatory animals. As for the shell, unlike that of its descendants, it was conical and consisted of large hexagonal plates. The remains of Glyptodon have been found in South America. Its shell has been perfectly preserved after so many years. Dinosaurs were not the only large animals that walked the earth. Many of these species of animals that dwelt in distant antiquity have disappeared today without a trace. For example, the aurochs, or the prehistoric urus, is an extinct breed of cattle, the direct ancestor of modern large horned cattle. They roamed Europe, Asia, and North Africa in an epoch when these territories were inhabited by large animals and early people. These gigantic creatures had especially long horns curved forward and muscular bodies. Though they were not as monstrous as dinosaurs, they undoubtedly dominated in their ranges. Their numerous depictions have survived. This means that the animals entered the social construct of prehistoric societies, and the history of their species merged with human history. This copper ring with the little figurine of an animal was discovered in excavations on Kish Island in the Persian Gulf. Kish is known as an ancient city-state in Mesopotamia, and the find was dated to approximately the 3,500th year before the Common Era. The most remarkable feature is the animal portrayed by the figurine. It personifies Civatherium, a gigantic herbivore that arose in Africa during the late Miocene, about 7 million years ago, and survived until the late early Pleistocene. Their first remains were found in rock deposits in the mountains on the border of India and Nepal. Nowadays, Civatheria are considered a genus of extinct mammals from the giraffe family. However, the discovery once again raises the question, when did they really die out? The colossal giraffe that is believed to have become extinct millions of years before the manufacture of this amulet has somehow magically appeared on an object of Sumerian cult. Analysis of the artifact proved that this prehistoric creature indeed lived in the epoch of Sumerian civilization. More evidence in support of this hypothesis was provided by depictions of animals of the same time, found in the territories of the Sahara and central western India. This means that Civatheria might have lived about 8,000 years ago, survived into the era of early Mesopotamian civilizations, and interacted with ancient people. If more such finds appear, it may mean that some prehistoric species could have existed much longer than had been supposed. We may think that sloths are harmless, slow, and clumsy animals, yet their distant ancestors were completely different. The now extinct species, the giant ground sloth, inhabited the American continent. It reached up to 20 meters in total length, and its height, if it stood on its hind limbs, reached from 2 to 4 meters. This giant was incomparable with any modern large mammal. Being an excellent climber with sharp claws, the giant ground sloth could dig large tunnels, the so-called paleoburrows. Fossilized remains and rock art in South America confirm its existence. These ancient mammals were contemporaries of other gigantic animals, such as mammoths and armadillos. Today, even the closest relatives of the giant sloth cannot compare in size and grandeur with their prehistoric ancestors. Saber-toothed cats, or smilodons, are an extinct species whose representatives lived from 2.5 million to 10,000 years ago in North and South America. They shared the Paleolithic epoch with early hominids. With their large, sharp, and curved fangs, saber-toothed cats were formidable predators that hunted large herbivores, including giant ground sloths. At the same time, on Earth lived primitive humans, who were rather intelligent and, thanks to their use of tools, mastered effective methods of hunting. Fossilized remains of saber-toothed cats show signs of confrontation between hunters and mighty predators. A wolf, in our understanding, is a large carnivorous mammal that lived in the most ancient times. In the Pleistocene and early Holocene, there also existed extinct species of wolves, such as the dire wolf and the megafaunal wolf. Whereas dinosaurs disappeared about 65 million years ago, wolves remained a living link between the Cretaceous period and prehistoric humans. The species dire wolf survived and inhabited the Earth simultaneously with early humans until about 9,500 years ago. New DNA studies of the found remains in 2021 showed that, despite the similarity to the modern gray wolf, in evolutionary lineage, the dire wolves are not genetically related to modern gray wolves. Their closest living relative is the African jackal. Yet formerly, this creature was indeed gigantic for a member of the dog family. Dire wolves were much larger than modern wolves, and their bite also differed in strength. Their extinction remains a mystery. Although they seemed well adapted, it could have occurred owing to climatic changes and also due to hunting by early humans. The Barbary lion was native to North Africa, was famed as king among animals, and played a very important role in the ancient world. Though a lion is not a dinosaur, it is nevertheless a descendant of the era of giants of the prehistoric world. Barbary lions disappeared in the wild at the beginning of the 20th century as a result of human hunting and the destruction of their natural habitat. The last wild Barbary lions were reportedly killed in 1922, while their subspecies continued to be bred for captivity. Their impressive size and regal appearance were an important presence in human history, and their evolutionary lineage stretches deep into the past, to the age of dinosaurs. The Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine, inhabited Australia, Tasmania, and New Guinea until the beginning of the 20th century. In appearance, it was not so much a tiger as a marsupial animal with a pattern of stripes on its back and tail, which earned it the tiger nickname. It was even more like a huge dog or a kangaroo, a nocturnal marsupial predator. It fed on small mammals, birds, and insects. Here are several reasons that led to the extinction of this animal: hunting, destruction of its habitat, and disease. The last thylacine specimen was said to have been alive in 1936. Today, it is one of the many lost species of life on the planet, and part of the ongoing problems of wildlife conservation. Mastodons were prehistoric relatives of elephants, members of an extinct family of proboscideans that lived in North America. In those early centuries, they reached about 3 meters in size and had curved tusks, long necks, and a hump on the back. Evidence of their presence and contact with primitive humans is obvious in fossils, as well as in petroglyphs and Paleolithic cave paintings that have been found in many regions of North America. This proves that mastodons played a significant role in the survival of prehistoric humans. The huge mammal known as the woolly mammoth also played a very important role in the life of early humans. These gigantic animals inhabited the cold regions of North America and Eurasia until roughly 4,000 years ago. For ancient people, their presence was decisive for survival. Food was scarce, and mammoth meat served as a vital source of nourishment, especially in such cold regions. The hide was used for making clothing and building dwellings, while bones and tusks were employed in the manufacture of tools and works of art. Finds of traces of the activity of prehistoric tribes made in Ukraine prove that these people used every part of the mammoth body. Even huts they built from mammoth bone, which was valued especially for its relatively soft structure. From this precursor of ivory, they created carvings and other significant items of spiritual and social life. In early cultures, mammoths were significant not only as a resource, but also as objects of veneration and themes of legends. In the history of mythology, their images have been preserved to this day, reminding us of the deep ties between people and the natural environment in prehistoric times. Such is the outcome of our episode. If you liked it and you want to see the next part or something similar, write about it in the comments and give likes. Subscribe to our channel, and very soon a new episode on another interesting topic will be released. Meanwhile, watch one of our previous videos that have already appeared on your screen.